Dear children, today we are going to focus on the language components based on the prose piece A Deed of Bravery written by Jim Corbett. In the previous sessions, we had already seen the introduction to the author Jim Corbett, the analysis of the prose A Deed of Bravery in 3 parts, and the discussion on the short question and answers. So this session is exclusively on language components. Now to start with, we have 5 different topics under language components. The first one is punctuation. Next comes framing of questions, and then use of negatives. And the fourth one is linkers, and the last one is comprehension passage. So we will go one topic after the other. Now these questions are picked from the textbook. If you have the textbooks with you, the explanation would be understandable in an easier way. Now the first topic is punctuation. You'll have to rewrite the following with appropriate punctuation. Now before answering the question on punctuation, you need to keep in mind the most commonly used punctuation marks in our routine. Now what are those commonly used punctuation marks? One is capital letter, full stop, comma, inverted commas, it can be either double or single, question mark and exclamatory mark. Though there are many more punctuation marks, these are the most commonly used punctuation marks which you need to think of. Now let us look at the first sentence and how to use the punctuation marks in this particular sentence. The sentence is like this: we had a great time in France. The kids really enjoyed it. Now here in this sentence you can't find any punctuation marks. So how do we use the punctuation marks? The beginning of the sentence is always with the capital letter. That's the reason W becomes capital. Now we had a great time in France. France is a proper noun, so it takes a capital letter at the beginning. That's why capital F. Now after that you need to put a full stop because it is one complete sentence. Now after France, the next sentence starts, the kids really enjoyed it. So because it is the beginning of the next sentence, the T becomes capital. The kids really enjoyed it. End of the sentence, you need to put a full stop. This is how you analyze a sentence and use the punctuation marks. Now the second sentence, some people work best in the mornings, others do better in the evenings. Again, we need to analyze the same way. The beginning of the sentence, capital letter, S becomes capital of the word some. Now some people work best in the mornings, comma. It's not a complete sentence. We take a pause after the word mornings. So whenever we take a pause, we put a comma. So some people work best in the mornings, others do better in the evenings. So at the end of the sentence, you put full stop. Now the next sentence, Ramesh said, I am coming tomorrow. Again, you don't find many punctuation marks which are necessary. So it looks like a dialogue or a direct speech. So in a direct speech, comma and inverted commas are the commonly used punctuation marks. So this is how we use them. Ramesh said, comma, and inverted commas will start here. I am coming tomorrow. End of the sentence, put a full stop and then close quotes. Now the fourth sentence, how lucky you are. Now here also no punctuation marks used. Though it looks like a question, it is not a question. It looks like a question because it starts with the word how, which is a WH word. Now whenever we are of the knowledge that whenever a sentence starts with a WH word, it is a WH question. It looks like a question, but it is not a question because of the word order. How lucky you are. If the sentence was how lucky are you, then it would have been a question. It is how lucky you are. It means it is a statement. What kind of a statement is this? It is an exclamatory sentence. How lucky you are. This is how you read it. You don't read it in a very simple way saying how lucky you are. No. The way you read this sentence is how lucky you are. So with excitement you say the statement. So this is an exclamatory sentence. That is the reason why we use exclamatory mark at the end of the sentence. Now as usual, any sentence will begin with a capital letter and so capital H. Now the fifth sentence, did you write well in the exam? Now again appropriate punctuation marks are not seen. So we are going to use the punctuation marks. Did you write well in the exam? It is a question. So you are going to put the question mark at the end of the sentence. The beginning of the sentence, capital letter, it's already there. So you don't have to worry about it. The only punctuation mark that you are going to use in this sentence is the question mark at the end. Now moving on to the next topic, that is the second topic, framing questions. Now when you frame questions, there are two kinds of questions that you need to think about. The first one is WH question. The second one is yes/no question. Now when you get a sentence with the underlined words, in that case you have to frame WH question. If you get a sentence with the instruction to frame yes/no question, then it's a different story altogether. Now let us see the first sentence here. The factory workers have gone on strike. So in this sentence you see the factory workers, which is underlined. Now the instruction given is frame a question so as to get the underlined words as answer. So when you see the underlined words, that moment you should get in your head that you are supposed to frame WH question. WH question is something which starts with WH words. Now what are WH words? Who, why, when, what, where, how. All these are WH words. Now whichever sentence starts with WH word is a WH question. So what is your answer? Who have gone on strike? Now when you ask that question, the underlined word should be an answer. That way you are supposed to frame the question. Now moving on to the second one, he can speak 5 languages. Again you have underlined word. Now you need to frame a question to get the underlined word as the answer. The question is, how many languages can he speak? Now when you are framing questions, one more point that you need to remember is you should retain the tense in your answer. So the question, when you see the question, whatever is the tense, your answer will also have the same tense. In the first sentence, you had present perfect tense in the sentence and your answer also has present perfect tense. In the second sentence, you have present tense and in your answer also you can see present tense. Now moving on to the third sentence, the team is visiting Paris. Now you don't have any underlined word here, so you are supposed to frame yes/no question. And you can see that in the instruction within brackets also. So the team is visiting Paris. Now what is your yes or no question? Is the team visiting Paris? If you observe the sentence keenly, the easy method of framing the yes/no question can be clearly seen in the sentence. The team is visiting Paris. If you reverse the word order, is the team visiting Paris? So the team is becomes is the team. Just reverse the word order, you will get the yes/no question. Now the fourth sentence, they are Americans. Now convert into yes/no question. Now when you are converting again, reverse the word order, you get the yes/no question. They are Americans become are they Americans? This is yes/no question. Now the fifth sentence, the young doctor emigrated to Canada. Now you can see the underlined word there. Whenever you see underlined word, you have to frame WH question. Now the question is like this: where did the young doctor emigrate? You need to remove the word to there. Where did the young doctor emigrate is enough. And emigrate to is also in a way correct. You can use that also. And even if you remove the word also, it makes sense. Now you can observe one thing, that the tense is retained. Now the next sentence, Narva was attacked by a tiger. You have the underlined word, frame a WH question. Which animal attacked Narva? So you have the same tense also, past tense, which is projected in your answer, and that is the way you need to frame a question. Now moving on to the seventh sentence, they were cutting bamboo at the Nalni forest. Now again underlined word, frame a WH question. Where were they cutting bamboo? Now the next sentence, the park was named Jim Corbett National Park in 1957. You see an underlined word here. Again, it's a WH question which you are going to frame. The answer is, in which year was the park named Jim Corbett National Park? So this is the logic behind framing questions. Now the next topic, or the third topic, is use of negatives. The moment you see the word negatives, the words which you need to get in your mind are not, no, never. These are called negative words. So if you get a positive sentence, use this word in your answer to make it negative. If you get a negative sentence, remove the negative word to make it a positive sentence. That is the understanding behind this topic. Now look at the first sentence. I like to read science fiction. So this is a positive sentence. So you need to make it negative. So how do you change it? I do not like to read science fiction. Again, keep in mind the tense should be the same. So you have a positive sentence which you are supposed to make it negative, and the tense used is present tense, and the same tense is to be used in your answer. Now the second one, he doesn't like playing video games. You have a negative sentence, make it positive by removing the word not. He likes playing video games. Third one, put the books in the packing case. So it's a positive sentence. To make it negative, use the word not. Don't put the books in the packing case. Now fourth one, there will not be a stop for lunch. You have a negative sentence. Remove the word not and give a affirmative or positive sentence. Positive sentence is a common word which is used. Now in the place of positive sentence, you can have either affirmative sentence or assertive sentence as well. Now the answer is, there will be a stop for lunch. Now the fifth one, our team played well yesterday. It's a positive sentence. Make it negative by adding the word not. Retain the tense as well. The fifth sentence is in past tense. So you are going to use past tense in the answer also. So our team didn't play well yesterday. Now the next topic is, that is the fourth topic under language components, is linkers. Linkers is nothing but conjunctions, and other name given to conjunctions because they link either the words or the sentences or the passages or the texts to texts. So conjunctions you might be already familiar when you studied parts of speech. Same thing is linkers. You will get sentences with the blanks, and the options will be given to you of the linkers. You will have to pick the right linker and place it in the blank. Now look at the first one. Everybody had heard of Einstein, but hardly anyone could understand his theory of relativity. So but is the linker. Though it is a small house, it is very comfortable one. Though is a linker used here. She was a great singer as well as an accomplished dancer as well as is the linker. The necklace is made up of brilliant diamonds and priceless rubies and is the linker used. Now the last sentence, we could not go on a picnic since it rained the whole day. Since is the linker used. Now you can see that after all the 5 sentences, you are given the options of the linkers within brackets. You have to choose the correct linker in the correct sentence. Now the last topic under language components is comprehension passage. A passage will be given to you and the questions will follow the passage, and read and understand the passage and answer those questions. Now let us see what the passage is all about. You will have to read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. This is how it looks like in the examination question paper also. Trees are important not only to man but also to birds and animals. The branches of trees give shelter to millions of birds and forests give shelter to numerous wild animals. We value trees not only for their usefulness but also for their beauty. They have a way of refreshing the eye and also refreshing the mind. Perhaps that is why the rishis of olden days were drawn to the forests. In modern times, when Rabindranath Tagore started a school, he too chose a place full of trees and called it Shantiniketan, or the home of peace. Once upon a time, large areas of India were covered with forests full of numerous kinds of trees. As the population grew, trees began to be cut down for man's use. That is how the wonderful forests described in our ancient poems came to be destroyed, and a great part of our forest wealth was lost. Afforestation drives are launched in a bid to retain and replenish the vanishing forest covers of the country. A new festival called Vanamahotsava has been started for this purpose. Since trees are the country's wealth, we must consider it our sacred duty to protect them. We should plant saplings wherever we can and look after them well. Now this is the passage. Now based on this passage, a few questions are given. You have to answer after understanding the passage. As we have been discussing the comprehension passage in the previous poems and prose piece, the questions which are given can be either referential questions or inferential questions. I have already told you referential questions mean the questions for which answers can be directly picked from the passage. Now, inferential questions, you can't get the answer directly from the passage. You have to understand and frame your own answer for that particular question. So, we will see what kind of questions are given here. The first one, how are trees important for birds and animals? The answer is, the branches of trees give shelter to millions of birds and forests give shelter to numerous wild animals. Now this answer is directly picked from the passage. So this question is a referential question. Now the second one, why did the rishis in olden days make forests their homes? The answer is, rishis in olden days make forests their homes because trees are a way of refreshing the eye and also refreshing the mind. So here also a referential question you can see. Third one, mention the cause for destruction of the wonderful forests. Answer is, as the population grew, trees began to be cut down for man's use. Again, answer is picked from the passage. So third question is also a referential question. And the fourth one, What is meant by Shantiniketan? Who started it? Shantiniketan means home for peace, home of peace. Rabindranath Tagore started it. So this answer also you can find it from the passage, hence a referential question. Now the last question, why is Vana Mahotsava celebrated? Vana Mahotsava is celebrated to retain and replenish the vanishing forest covers of the country. Another referential question you can see. So there are no inferential questions in this particular passage. So it's easier to get the answers for the referential questions. Now you have to keep one thing in mind, that whenever you are answering the questions based on the passage, you have to be very precise because they are all 1 mark questions. You should not be picking too many sentences before and after that particular answer and make it a big answer. You should be up to the point, pick the right sentence which is the most appropriate one for that particular question. I hope the discussion of the language components has been helpful for you to understand the different language topics here. We will meet in the next session with the revision of the entire prose piece. Thank you very much.